Batman v Superman is full of fun little Easter eggs and hints that I'm sure most DC comic fans really appreciated. This video is going to name them as well as provide some explanation, so let's go ahead and get right into this. Real quick, spoiler warning, that should go without saying, but I am a gentleman, and I am being courteous to you the viewer. You're welcome. Let's go ahead and start off with The Dark Knight Returns. It's no secret that Batman v Superman was heavily influenced by Frank Miller's masterpiece, but there are a few scenes that I felt Zack Snyder just pointed to one of the pages in the book and said, hey, do exactly that. For instance, the Martha Kent rescue scene towards the end, it was almost exact to this panel from the comic book. Pretty much the only difference between the two is that instead of it being a member of the mutant gang, it was KG Beast. Also, Batman, he, incinerated him. Also, Superman getting nuked and then turning into a weird zombie thing also happened in The Dark Knight Returns. The beginning of the Batman and Superman showdown was very reminiscent of when Oliver Queen shot a kryptonite arrow at Superman. The difference obviously being the projectile and the one who shot it. Real quick, all of these were a homage of sorts to panels from the book. This shot resembling one of the book's covers. Superman hovering over Batman before the big fight, and Batman perched on top of a building aiming a scoped rifle. Assuming the Red Hood storyline has already taken place in this universe, Batman could have referenced Jason Todd, the second Robin who was brutally murdered by the Joker. The quote was this:
20 years in Gotham, Alfred. We've seen what promises are worth. How many good guys are left? How many stayed that way?
Seeing as how Jason Todd was a good guy turned bad, that could have been a reference to him. Darkseid, one of my personal favorite DC villains, was hinted at several times throughout this movie. The most notable during the Nightmare Batman scene. We saw his Omega symbol etched into the dirt. We also got an up-close and personal look at the Parademons, Darkseid's personal troops. And lastly, at the very end of the movie, an imprisoned Lex Luthor talked about someone among the stars is coming and he's hungry. I definitely think that was a reference to Darkseid. I just don't see it being a reference to anyone else. Also, why would they throw all of these hints throughout this movie if DC didn't have any plans for him in the near future? Superman's death in this movie. Yeah, when I said spoilers, I meant it, bro. It was reminiscent of, who would have thought, the death of Superman. The big thing really just being that Doomsday was the one who killed Superman in the comics, and of course afterwards Lois holding Superman's lifeless body in her arms. Also, the event that preceded Death of Superman, World Without a Superman, also had some influence on this movie, specifically the funeral scene. Like in the comic, it was a really big thing and pretty much the entire city mourned his death. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about other Justice League members who made an appearance in this movie, starting off with Cyborg. We saw him briefly, it was more of a cameo, but if you looked closely, in the bottom right corner of the screen you could see a Star Laboratories logo. In the New 52, Cyborg's father worked for Star Laboratories, and it's also the company that provided the tech to keep him from dying. Lastly, Wonder Woman. During the fight against Doomsday, Wonder Woman mentioned how she's fought monsters before. This was most likely referencing the events of the Wonder Woman solo movie, where I think the most likely antagonist would be Ares, the god of war. Alright guys, thank you for watching today's video, and as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to check out some of my other videos, go ahead and click the link on screen, or you can click the link in the description below. Anyway guys, peace.